Hey guys, how you doing? Steve Roger Phillips here, and in this video, I'm just going to give you a bit of a lowdown on what's going on currently. Because I was speaking to a friend of mine from the Raise Your Vibe 108 group. If you want to join the Raise Your Vibe 108 group, it's Raise Your Vibe 108, and that's in Facebook. So yeah, I was speaking because there's a lot of talk about these times at the moment being end of times, and there's so many people putting it out there. Oh, the signs are here. It's the end of times. It's the end of the world. It's the end of the world every couple of years. I remember 2012. It was everything was going to end, and then was it? I can't remember what year it was when they changed to digital. There's going to be all catastrophe and everything's gonna end and stuff. And yeah, the next day nothing much happened. 2012, nothing much really happened. There's big changes, don't get me wrong. And we're transitioning into the change the 2012 brought. And but I remember at the time there was a big hype for it, and myself included, got on the bandwagon and stuff. But there's been a transitionary period as we've gone into that because we've gone out of the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. So we're in a transitionary period there, but we're also in a much bigger transitionary period, which people don't understand. So according to Vedic science, that is anyway. So according to Vedic science, okay, we're in the last of four yugas. So there's four yugas an age basically, and they call this Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, or some people call it the Iron Age. So it does look like it's end of times, like what the Bible talks of. However, according to Vedic science, and it's one of the oldest books, wisdom, philosophical, religious, or spiritual books that you can get, the Vedas. And Veda just literally means knowledge. And within those books, it says that where this age is 432,000 years long, and we are currently just 5,000 years into that. So there's still another, for anyone who thinks the end of the world next week, we still got another, according to the Vedas, this is, I'm not saying I'm definitely right, but you know, it's one of the solid sources of evidence and knowledge we've got, and one of the oldest, if not the oldest. And so that's saying we've got like 427,000 years left in in this age. Okay, so anyone who thinks the demons that are propagating all this BS that's going on currently are going to end the world, it's not. Okay, because we've got much longer period left. And another key difference in this, even though it's the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, and it's the last of the four ages, so because it's the last of the four ages, it's the most degraded, and it continues to get more and more degraded as we get towards the end of that 432,000 year cycle. The saving grace is that 500 years ago, there was an avatar born who was called Lord Chaitanya. And that was the advent of the golden age within Kali Yuga. So every so often, I can't remember how often it is now, but it's very rare. Right? It's like rocking horse poo, as many people would say. It's extremely rare that when this avatar comes, Lord Chaitanya, at this time. And we're very fortunate to live at this time. And each yuga has got a different prescription, if you like, a different medicine in order to self-realize. And the medicine for this age is very simple. It's just chanting 16 words, well, 4 words, 16 times in a different variety. And that's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is the means of deliverance in this age of Kali. Now, it's especially easy to gain self-realization during this golden age period we're in. And like I said, we're only 500 years into that, and that's a 10,000 year cycle within Kali Yuga. So just to give you a lowdown again, so 5,000 years ago, that's when Krishna was here, and that was the advent of Kali Yuga. And 500 years ago, that was the advent of the golden age of 10,000 years within Kali Yuga. And that was an avatar called Lord Chaitanya that descended. I guess that's how you say. And he's called the Golden Avatar because he was the advent of the Golden Age. And his advice for this age, for enlightenment, was chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You can do that by chanting like personally with beads. like prayer beads. I've got some on me right here. But so you've got prayer beads, or you can chant congregationally together called kirtan. Many people are getting into kirtan meditation, and this is a process called bhakti yoga. Anyone who thinks that this is like a sectarianism, a cult or whatever, cult basically is just a short word for culture, though. So, you know, there's many different cults or cultures which have survived, so don't be scared of the name. But it's a process called Bhakti Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is the top of the yoga ladder, and there's a yoga ladder of many different yoga positions we can do. Starts with like physical positions and builds up to Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the topmost we can do because it's the yoga of love and devotion. So it's of love and devotion, ultimately serving the highest, serving the divine. So when we're praying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we're chanting this mantra, our prayer is just like a child to a baby. Just like a baby to its mother, crying out for direction and also crying out for service. So crying out for service to help humanity and to help guide us on this very precarious path. And over these last few years, there's been, it's been very obvious. It said in the Vedas that life is just like a water droplet on the end of a leaf. It's we're in a very precarious position in the material world. But just like Jesus said, Easter's just been, so just like Jesus said, it's important to be in the world, but not of the world. And that's what this chanting of this mantra does. It's for transcendence. It's to transcend the material world. It's to get into the spiritual realm of thinking and in our heart, so that we can do that on a daily basis. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm just telling you how it goes. You know, in daily life, also with myself, I got many different challenges which I'm faced with. I'm not always on that platform, but I know and I've experienced from chanting this mantra and connecting to this mantra that it helps to keep us in that state of transcendence. So, going back to the point of the video, according to Vedic science, then we are not at the end of days, not yet anyway, unless you consider like 427,000 years. It is quite close in comparison to the previous yugas, because the yugas prior to Kali Yuga, I can't quote all of the different names. Dwapara Yuga, there's 4 other yugas. Satya Yuga, my name's Satya Hare, but Satya means the mode of goodness. So the first stage was the age of goodness, and that was a longer period. I can't remember the periods of every yuga, but it starts with a much longer period, shorter until the last. This is the shortest of all the yugas, but it's still 427,000 years long. So the world's not ending. Keep calm. It's all good. And I was just doing this video because somebody inspired me to do it, because we were having a conversation around it. And I think it's an important message right now, because there's so many things going on in the world, so much negativity going around. There's demons trying to take over the world like they've always done since time immemorial. And but ultimately, don't worry, if we take shelter of the divine, if we take shelter of Radha and Krishna, this is Radhe Radhe behind me. If we take shelter of Radhe Radhe and Krishna, then it doesn't matter really what's going on externally, because we'll remain on the spiritual platform. Easier said than done sometimes, but yeah, it's definitely proved true in my life. And yeah. So if anyone wants to know anything extra about that, please get in touch. But I just wanted to do a quick video just to update everyone on Kali Yuga, where we're really at and stuff, because I hear so many videos and people talking about end of days, but in the Vedic perspective, it just brings a lot of peace of mind really when we get to know the real scope of what's going on. And like Christianity dates back 2,000 years, roughly, isn't it, 2,000 years, whereas Vedic science, it can go back many hundreds or even thousands of years, thousands, even millions of years really, when you start looking at some of the history of the Vedas, and you start looking at the different books. And yeah, it goes back a long way. Anyhow, I'm not saying I'm right, but do your own research around it, obviously. But this is where I've come to after many years of research and stuff. Yeah, the Vedas are the most comprehensive of literatures that I've been able to find, with the most in-depth knowledge about the divine and about what the divine gets up to and what they like and what they love, their personalities, ultimately about their personalities. One of the key things the Lord Chaitanya came to spread was oneness and difference. And that's one of the key differences really in our philosophy, is that we're one with God, but we're also separate from God in that we're individual. So we're one, as in Krishna and Krishna in our heart. However, we are also one and different. So the and different is where we're separate individuals, and we've all got our personal individuality within that as well. So lots of love to you. I hope you're holding out well in these times. And yeah, just if you're ever in doubt, just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lots of love, guys. Radhe Radhe.